Howdy strangers, it's me again, shooting an intro before the intro because editing, filming, laying, working, and just life in general is tough to juggle everything together. So that is why I have not made a video in quite some time or posted a video in quite some time. But I have noticed one of my videos has been getting some views, and it's kind of, I guess, put a little pep in my step or a little drive in my ride to get something out there and maybe make another run at it. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But in the video you're about to watch, I say it's going to be a multi-part series, which obviously the tile work's already done and it's not a multi-part series. But it'll still be helpful and it could still teach you a thing or two if you want to learn how to, measure your material and kind of lay things out a little bit. Maybe there'll be a few hints or tips in there that'll help you. But I think at the end of the video, I'll just go ahead and film the whole shower, what everything looks like, and then maybe that'll make a little bit more sense after kind of hearing my thoughts and hearing how I wanted to lay things out and then being able to see the finished product. So with all that being said, enjoy the video, maybe hit me a like, maybe a subscribe, and maybe a comment, because if I start seeing more activity on the channel, it'll probably drive me to want to do more DIYs, how-tos, and instructional, things, because I do think it'd be kind of cool if people started asking questions, and then whenever the jobs came about, and let's see, how can I word this? When the jobs come about where people are asking stuff how to do something and I get a chance to do it and I can show step by step, I do think that'd be kind of neat. And people with general construction knowledge could probably take some tips and tricks that I have from doing it over a decade and applying it and saving themselves some money and doing it yourself. And having that kind of satisfaction is pretty good. So enjoy the video. Hey guys, what's going on? Texas Tile Guy back here. Had some time this week, so I thought I'd make a multiple part series on how to lay shower walls. So if that's something that piques your interest, stay tuned, because in this part I'm going to be showing you how to measure your material and lay out everything to start. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing you want to do is get a measurement on your material, which is 17 3/4 both ways, and you also want to know the size of spacer that you're going to be putting in it. I'm going to be putting in an 1/8 inch. So with that being said, when I'm pulling my measurement, I'm going to be pulling to the top of my tile. I'll probably go ahead and put a mark at 17 3/4 and then 17 7/8, which will show me where this tile ends and the next one will be beginning. The way I was thinking about this is I'm kind of wanting to make it to where I have a whole tile running across the top of this little pony wall, and being that these tiles are so big, if I pull a measurement from here, which that is 31 3/4 to 32 7/8, which is, I just say 33. Yeah, just say 33 at the long point. 2 18s make 36. So you know that 2 tiles can fit in here. And something that you want to keep in mind whenever you're thinking about laying out a shower walls like this. Now, of course, I've had to lift this pan up. It's not a recessed pan. So something to keep in mind is you want to have a big enough cut going around the bottoms, all around the bottom. You don't want to end up with a little 1 inch, 2 inch cut going around the bottom, because if you have a recessed pan, you may not have any material there to stick to, but it also doesn't look as good. So with that being said, that I'd like for my pony wall to be that way, and also this will save me a bunch of crazy cuts around here because it'll flow just straight across. I'm going to check my pony wall for level, which is roughly 3/16 out. So that means if I measure from this right side, which is my lower side, I'll just bring it flush across the top, and I'll just put, when I put my cap on, I'll just float it to where you can't really, where you don't see that at all. So I can go ahead and pull my measurement from right here and figure out my 17 3/4 will be hitting right here. That's where my next tile will be. So since I've got my mark established right here, if I think about it right here, right up here is where my next tile would be if I decided to do it that way. And then my design would have to go above it, which would put it way up here right underneath the shower head, and that's not gonna look as good. You wanna try to put your design right around eye level, which since I'm standing in this pen, it's gonna be a little bit below. But if I'm standing out here out of the pan, it's pretty close to it. So what I think I'm gonna do is, since these tiles are so big, I'm gonna go ahead and start my design right here. Which I'll lay the design out a little bit and I'll show you that. Okay, so I've got this butted up here, which whenever I do this design, if you've seen some of my other videos, you've actually seen this design already in it. But it always starts with a hole and a half, just like this, and then it ends with a hole and a half. Which I know that angle's not the best. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. There, hopefully that's better. So with that being said, if I measure right here to 2 hole tile, and then this would be my half, right across there, it measures at 8 1/4. And if I decided to go with 3, it would measure at, now keep in mind I'm measuring to the half of this tile, so it's 1, 2, 3 whole ones, which would measure 11 1/8. I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget about it. Okay, so now that we've got our measurements for the 2, if I was to come right here, which I've already kind of marked some of this out and make it a little quicker. So if I measure to where my tile's ending, and then my joint to where that marble is gonna start, this is where my mark is. So then if I measure that to right there, it's pretty much gonna put me right here underneath my shower head. And after I run these walls up, I'm gonna take the 4x4 and I'm gonna run it around the top and the sides to kind of border it. So if I take a piece of this right here and put it right on top of that, which would be right about here. In my shower head, it would come right there, barely covering it, which would be okay. But I think it would look better if it was above it some. If I go with the 3 hole marble, which would be right to this mark that I already have, it would put my hole tile just right above my shower head, which I think that would look better with my border wrapping up above it. Which a lot of this stuff is pretty much just measuring your material, and just, it's what I always say about laying tile is it's like a puzzle, but you got to figure out how to make your own pieces. So with that being said, I think with putting the 3 marble, having my last hole tile run up a little bit above my shower head, and then running the marble above it, I think that's going to be the best look. And with these tiles being so big, I feel like my design's going to look a little better if it's a little bit on the bigger side also. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come down to my pony wall. I'm going to place me a tile where I want the top of it to be flush with, and I'm going to mark the bottom of it, and then I'm going to mark all the way around the shower walls and then cut some sticks. Okay. I know it's going to be a little bit of a pain to see because I've already got marks everywhere, and I let my boy come in here and draw on the walls, which luckily it didn't venture further than right here. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this just like I want it. I got a little piece here that kind of shows me where to stop. I'm gonna take my pencil. I'm gonna draw me one little mark right there. So I'm gonna draw me one mark right here, and then I'm gonna take my level and I'm gonna run it all the way around all the walls. Now once you get all your lines marked, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go cut some boards, and we're going to screw them all to the walls, and we're going to start on that line with a whole one and work up. And this will make the process of cutting in the bottom a lot easier once you get to that step. Alright, now once you get your boards cut, you're going to use them lines that you already drew. Board's a little warped, but that's alright. What I like to do is I like to line it up with the lines the best I can. And then take a level. Help if I already had it with me. Set it on there. Then work it to where it's perfect to the level. You're still pretty much right on your lines. Shoot her in. Double check. That looks good. Then just start running your boards all the way around. You're a little off with your level, I mean just a smidge. You don't have to be too anal with this, because as you lay your first course, you can shim it and level it as you go. So it's not just too necessary to be dead level, but it does make the job a lot easier as you go if it is very close to it. One thing I like to check, which I've already done it before, but I'll let you know now, is before you run your running boards, take a measurement from the floor all the way up to your line. And that will let you know what size cut you're going to get around. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you want to make sure that you're not going to get left with like a 1 inch or a 2 inch cut. You want to try to get it as big as you possibly can. Down here by the drain, down here by the drain is my lowest point, so that's where my biggest cut is gonna be. So if I take a measurement, taking a measurement from the bottom to your hole tile will allow you to know that you're going to have a good solid piece running around as your whole bottom course. Well, I hope that wasn't too long-winded for y'all, and if you found that informational, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I'd much appreciate it. But until next time, I'll catch you on the next video. Y'all have a good one.